If you like storytime vibes, hit subscribe and let's dive in together.
We need a prenuptial agreement. Everything separate. What's mine stays mine. Claire dropped the words in the middle of dinner, leaving the entire table frozen. I set my fork down and gave a cold smile. Perfect. Because yesterday I pulled my name off the house deposit. $50,000 is already back in my account. Her parents' faces drained of color, and Claire stammered pale. You can't do that. I locked eyes with her. Not only can I, but I already did. Now I'm sitting here, in my apartment, surrounded by unopened wedding decorations and boxes that will never see use. And honestly, I feel lighter than I have in years. I'm 32, a software developer making about $140,000 a year. Claire, my former fiancée, is 30, working in fashion marketing and earning around $65,000. We'd been together for 3 years, engaged for 6 months, and until recently, I thought she was my future. But in just the past 2 weeks, every illusion collapsed. It all started with the house, a plan that seemed like the first step toward building a home. But in the end, it exposed a side of her I never could have imagined. We had spent months searching for a place to call home, and just last month we finally stumbled upon what felt like the perfect one. The house was a bit older, but the structure was strong. The price was $420,000, and it offered plenty of space to grow into a family. Our plan seemed straightforward. Put down 20%, $84,000 in total, to steer clear of PMI. I was ready. I'd saved $50,000 over years, skipping vacations, driving my old Honda, cooking at home when I wanted steakhouse dinners. Claire? She had $4,000 saved. The rest of her $34,000 contribution was a gift from her parents, $30,000 wired to her account. The deal was clear. Ownership split 60-40, reflecting contributions. We signed the purchase agreement. The deposit had to be in escrow within 10 days. I wired my $50,000 right away. Claire promised her parents were arranging the transfer. I didn't press. I thought we had time. That's what I believed. Until dinner at her parents' house flipped everything upside down. Her mom, Diane, laid out an elaborate roast. Her dad, George, poured vintage wine like it was a special occasion. I thought maybe we'd toast wedding plans or celebrate the house. Halfway through the meal, Claire tapped her glass for attention. "I've been reflecting on our future," she said with a smile, "and I've made a choice." I leaned in, expecting something sweet. A wedding venue announcement, maybe honeymoon details. Instead, "I think we need a prenup. Everything's separate. What's mine stays mine. What's yours stays yours." I set my fork down. "All right, let's discuss." George nodded, his voice booming. "Wise move, Claire. No offense, Matt, but safeguarding assets is just smart planning." "None taken," I said. "I get the idea." But inside, something snapped. Claire's smile wasn't nervous or hesitant. It was smug, the kind of smile she wore when she thought she'd outsmarted someone. She continued, "We'll keep our money separate, file taxes apart, and if, heaven forbid, something happens, we each walk away with what we brought. Simple and clear." I asked, "Even the house?" She shook her head. "No, the house would be joint. We're both on the deed. But once we're married, it's equal property." I raised an eyebrow. "So I'm putting in $50,000. You're putting in $34,000. But it all becomes 50-50 once the papers are signed?" "Exactly," she said brightly. "Convenient. Separate when it benefited her. Equal when it cost me." "Interesting timing," I said. "When did you settle on this?" "Oh, I've been mulling it over for weeks. My friend Lisa's divorce was messy. I don't want that for us." Weeks. She'd been planning this while I wired my $50,000. "Actually," I said, pulling out my phone, "this timing is perfect." "What do you mean?" she asked. "I withdrew my name from the house deal yesterday." The table froze. "What do you mean withdrew?" Diane asked, her voice sharp. "I called the escrow company. Since Claire hadn't deposited her share and were not married, I pulled out. Got my $50,000 back." I held up the email confirmation. Claire's face went pale. "You can't do that." "I already did." George's tone hardened. "But we sent Claire the money. Then she can buy the house alone, her credit, her funds, her house." Claire's voice rose. "I can't get a $420,000 loan on my income." "Then find a cheaper place," I said calmly. "But we signed the agreement." "You signed. I withdrew. You've got 72 hours to put in your share, or you lose the house and the earnest money." "This is coercion." Diane stood, her face red. "No," I said, meeting Claire's eyes. "This is honoring her request for separate finances." Claire's voice cracked. "Desperate now. I need your $50,000. The loan was based on both our incomes." "But you just said, 'What's mine is mine, what's yours is yours.' That's for after we're married. So you want my money now, but protection from my debts later?" George slammed his hand on the table. "You're going to fix this, young man." "No, I'm not," I said, standing. "Claire wants financial independence. She's got it." Claire started crying. "The seller will sue us." "They'll sue you," I said. "My name's off the documents." The table erupted, shouting, accusations, Claire sobbing about her dream home. I thanked them for dinner, told Claire she had 68 hours left, and walked out. That night, my phone exploded. 39 texts in an hour. I ignored them. Later, a mutual friend confided something that twisted the knife. Claire had been bragging about her genius prenup plan. She'd been telling people she found a way to make me cover most of the house while shielding her family's money. She even called me a bank with a proposal. Well, this bank just closed. And that was just the beginning. The fallout from that dinner was immediate. Claire couldn't secure the loan. On her $65,000 salary, the most any bank would offer was around $200,000, less than half of what she needed. The $420,000 dream home slipped through her fingers, along with the $5,000 earnest money. Her parents were livid, but instead of turning their frustration toward her, they came after me. Monday morning, George stormed into my workplace lobby, red-faced and fuming. "You cost us $35,000, he barked, shoving a finger into my chest. "The $30,000 gift plus the earnest money deposit. You ruined our daughter's future." I stayed calm. "I cost you nothing. I backed out of a purchase before marriage, which I'm legally allowed to do." "You knew she couldn't afford it alone." "Then she shouldn't have demanded separate finances," I shot back. "That's not what she meant." "It's exactly what she said," I replied, pulling out my phone and scrolling to her text. "See? Her words. Everything's separate, clean and simple. What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours." George tried to grab my phone. Security escorted him out before it got physical. By Tuesday, Claire had sent her friend Tara to mediate. We met at a cafe. Tara slid into the booth across from me, smoothing her skirt nervously. "She's open to a compromise," Tara said gently. "Compromise?" I raised an eyebrow. "Yes, the prenup stays, but the house is joint." I laughed, bitter. "That's not a compromise. That's exactly what she wanted from the start." "No, she's willing to share some things, like streaming subscriptions." I stared at her. "Streaming subscriptions? She wants my $50,000 for a house but offers me Hulu access in return?" "You're being unfair," Tara said, flustered. "No, I'm being consistent. Separate is separate." Tara flushed. "She loves you, Matt. She just wants to protect herself." "She called me a bank with a proposal," I said evenly. Tara's eyes widened. "Who told you that?" "Doesn't matter. It's true, isn't it?" She mumbled something about girl talk and left. By Wednesday, Claire took the fight public. She posted a long rant online about how her dream home was stolen by a man intimidated by a strong, independent woman. She painted herself as the victim of my financial manipulation. But the internet doesn't forgive hypocrisy. Comments poured in. Wait, you wanted a prenup but expected him to pay more for the house? Separate finances but joint property? That's not how it works. Didn't you brag he was covering most of it? Even a co-worker of hers chimed in. Didn't you tell us you were making him fund the house? The post was deleted within 2 hours. Thursday brought another ambush. Her parents invited me to dinner to resolve things maturely. I agreed, but only at a neutral restaurant. We sat down, and George immediately opened his laptop, launching a slideshow titled, Our Family Plan. Here's how we move forward, he said confidently. You and Claire buy a house, you put in your $50,000, we add $30,000, and it's 50-50 ownership, equal, fair, building a life together. I let him finish. Then I asked, so I pay 62% but own 50%? That's how families work, Diane cut in, her voice sharp. Marriage is about give and take. I wanted a partner, I said quietly. She wanted a financier. That's not love. Claire finally snapped. You embarrassed me, Matt. Everyone knows you bailed on the house. You embarrassed yourself, I said, meeting her eyes, with that prenup stunt. It was for our protection, she shouted. No, it was for your protection while you used my money. That money is nothing to you, she spat. I froze, stunned at the entitlement. Nothing to me? That money is 3 years of saving, sacrificing trips, driving an old car, living frugally. But to you it's nothing because you didn't earn it and you want it. George leaned forward. What if we repay you over time? I shook my head. Repay me for what? I didn't give you anything for your share of the house, and there is no house. They stormed out, leaving their untouched meals behind. Friday, the threats escalated. I got a letter from Claire's lawyer claiming I owed her $50,000 for detrimental reliance and breach of promise. My lawyer laughed so hard he nearly cried. First, he said, no money exchanged between you two. Second, backing out before marriage isn't a breach. Third, her texts prove she wanted separate finances. Fourth, detrimental reliance requires reasonable expectation. And no judge would say expecting someone to bankroll your house while demanding financial separation is reasonable. He fired off a response. Haven't heard from her lawyer since. But Claire didn't stop. She spun stories, painting herself as a woman wronged. She told friends, co-workers, even her yoga instructor that I sabotaged her life. I ignored it until she tried to manipulate my mother. My mom, by the way, is a retired family court judge. She's seen every kind of betrayal imaginable. Claire went to her in tears, begging her to talk sense into me. That night, my mom called me. Matt, that girl's a piece of work, she said flatly. She came to me whining about how you ruined her. Then she said, and I quote, she wanted to protect herself while building a future with your money. Does she even listen to herself? I asked what she told her. That she's lucky you stayed calm. I've seen men lose far more to women far less subtle than her. Mom was right. Claire was relentless. The following week, she texted me out of the blue. Found a sweet starter home, $250,000. You put in $30,000, I'll do $20,000. Fresh start. I stared at the message, disbelief turning to anger. We're not together anymore, Claire, I typed back. Her reply was instant. What, over one argument? Over a misunderstanding? She showed up at my apartment that night, with her parents and a realtor in tow, carrying property listings like we were still shopping together. We can tour tomorrow, she said cheerfully, like nothing had happened. Claire, we're done. The wedding's canceled. Her face drained of color. You're serious? Over a house? No, I said coldly. Over your prenup scheme. Over calling me a bank with a proposal. Over trying to use me while shielding yourself. Over showing me you wanted my money, not me. George puffed up, pointing at me. Listen here, sir. You're trespassing, I snapped. Leave or I call the police. Diane sobbed. We gave her that money for your future. You gave her that money, I corrected. What she does with it is her problem. The realtor, mortified, slipped away. Claire tried to stop her. Show him the listings, she begged. The realtor bolted. Claire broke down, screaming, I did everything right. I was securing our future. No, I said, my voice like ice. You were securing your future with my money. That's what smart women do, she snapped. Then be smart with someone else's money, I said, and shut the door. The neighbors heard everything. Later, building management sent me a warning about domestic disturbances. I showed them security footage of 3 people forcing their way in. They issued Claire a trespass notice. And that was just round 2 of the chaos. The chaos didn't stop with the trespass notice. If anything, it escalated. Claire clung to the fantasy that our wedding was still happening. She refused to cancel the venue. Weeks later, she even sent me an invoice demanding I pay half the deposits, $18,000. I forwarded her own words back to her. Everything's separate. What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours. She lost the deposits. Another $16,000 gone. Her parents had paid, convinced we'd reconcile. Instead, they were bleeding money on a wedding that would never happen. Then came the engagement ring saga. In my state, an engagement ring is a conditional gift, no marriage, no ring. But Claire refused to return it. You disgraced me, she snarled when I asked. I'm keeping it. Fine. I got my lawyer involved. She eventually caved. But when I had it appraised, the diamond was fake. She'd swapped it. I still had the original appraisal from when I purchased it. I threatened theft charges. Within days, the real ring appeared back in my possession. But karma was only beginning to bite. Remember the $30,000 her parents gifted her? The IRS remembered too. Because the money was given to her, not to us as a couple, they owed about $4,000 in gift taxes. On top of that, Claire had to claim it as income since no house was purchased. She owed another $6,000 in taxes, so their $30,000 investment in her future cost them nearly $40,000 and got them absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Claire's personal life crumbled. She'd already given up her apartment, expecting to move into the dream house. When the deal fell apart, she had nowhere to go. She ended up back in her childhood bedroom at her parents' place. She kept posting online, painting herself as the victim of toxic men. Her captions read like inspirational quotes over selfies, rising above betrayal, thriving despite those who fear strong women. But the truth always finds daylight. Word spread about the prenup stunt, the fake diamond, the trespass incident. People who once admired her started keeping their distance. A friend showed me her new dating profile. It said, "Looking for a real man. Must be financially secure and generous. Not afraid of a successful woman. Must be open to prenups." One guy reportedly replied, "You want a funder, not a husband." Her reputation was shot. Tara, the friend who once tried to mediate, called me weeks later. She sounded guilty. "I didn't know, Matt. About the bank with a proposal thing. About her plan. She'd been scheming for months. First, get you to cover most of the house, then lock in a prenup to protect her share. I'm sorry." I told her she didn't owe me an apology. Claire's choices were her own. In the end, the house we almost bought sold for $400,000, below asking price. We could have had a bargain. But the truth is, it was never our house. It was always supposed to be my money bankrolling her vision while she shielded herself from risk. My mom summed it up best. She didn't want a spouse. She wanted a sponsor. And thank God I saw it before walking down that aisle. I've since reinvested the $50,000 I pulled back. In just a few months, it's already up 8%. I'm not thinking about dating yet. But when I do, I'll be searching for a true partner, someone who brings more than just demands to the table. Do I regret my actions? No. My only regret is not spotting the signs earlier. They were there, plain as day. Her casual, "You got this," whenever bills came in. Her habit of planning trips and handing me the check. Her favorite joke, "What's the point of having a boyfriend with money if he doesn't spend it?" It wasn't a joke. It was her philosophy. She wanted my funds, not my future. My wealth, not my worries. My assets, not my debts. She wanted, "What's mine is mine, and what's yours is ours." Instead, she got exactly what she asked for. Total financial independence. From me. Permanently. And me? I walked away lighter, wiser, and free. The lesson? Marriage isn't a business contract where one side bankrolls the other's dream. It's a partnership built on trust, fairness, and shared sacrifice. When someone shows you they only want your resources, not your heart, believe them. Because love without respect isn't love. It's a transaction. And I don't regret for 1 second refusing to be someone's bank account with a proposal.